So what you're saying is that no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get anything done. And you've tried everything. You've set clear goals, you've adhered to a strict schedule, you have no social life, you've reduced your screen time, and it even says here that you gave away your TV? Sounds like you might be suffering from overstructure. It's a common type of burnout in creative and entrepreneurial types, where they become so obsessed with achievement that their life becomes skewed to the point of breakdown, and ironically, they actually end up not achieving anything at all. So I'm gonna write you a prescription, and it's gonna take 3 steps, and you'll see results in about 2 to 4 weeks. Step 1, compress. The time you allocate towards your creative pursuit needs to be contained and compressed. The reason for this is that right now it's just running through your life like a virus, and it's filling any and all gaps until it suffocates you. This is because of something called Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available. So right now you don't have any constraints or boundaries on your work, so it just continues to permeate throughout the day. You can never switch your brain off and just enjoy something else because you always feel like you should be working. But this actually leads to your work being thin and interrupted and sloppy. Whereas if you were to constrict it to the first couple hours of the day, then your work would actually be efficient and you'd actually produce more results than ever. We often think about life and productivity as a linear equation, where the more time we put into something, the more results we attain. But productivity is more like that of the inverted U hypothesis, which states that there is an optimal point of time and effort in relation to productivity, and everything past that point is diminishing returns until you reach burnout. So what you want to figure out is what your optimal point of productivity is every day. You know, how many hours of work do you dedicate towards your pursuits in order to get those optimal results, and then stick to it. This is what makes productivity sustainable. If you're always trying to push past that, always push your limits day in, day out, you're only going to reach burnout, and that won't achieve anything. Now, once you've clocked out for the day, it's time you introduce a little anarchy. From the way you've been describing it, it sounds like you hit a wall mentally, and then you just continue to slam your head against it in hopes of breaking through. But metaphorically speaking, this isn't drywall, this is a concrete dead end, and the only damage you're inflicting is to yourself. So instead, I'm prescribing a touch of anarchy in your life, where now when you hit a wall, mentally, you won't just continue to slam your head against it in hopes of more work will equal more results. Instead, you're going to drop everything, leave the house, and go do something completely different. The more unrelated, the better. And this is for 2 reasons. 1, to find a solution to a problem you can't solve, you must stop trying. If your conscious mind can't solve the problem, it's time you let your more powerful subconscious take over. Science has actually shown that when you apply yourself to a difficult problem and then you take a break, the same circuits that were used to fire when you were trying to solve the problem consciously continue to fire, but at double the speed. But your conscious mind can't come along for the ride. I mean, you can't think in double speed. Your head would be spinning. But so often we leave our nail gun in the tool chest because we can't let go of the hammer. So give yourself permission to completely abandon the work. It might just be the most productive thing you ever do. The second reason is more emotional. You know, we're not robots, we're born to be free. So by keeping yourself on such a tight leash, your spirit is bound to rebel against this self-imposed imprisonment and essentially just go on strike. And finally, something that offers instant relief is just to go tell someone. Find someone you trust and just tell them what you're going through. Because usually in periods of overstructure, we do tend to isolate ourselves, and just by letting someone else in on what you're going through, everything becomes just a little bit easier. Social interactions are kind of like the engine oil to the spirit and the soul. They help us function at our best. And so by sacrificing your social life, thinking it's going to help you progress your career or your creative pursuits, you're actually going to have the opposite effect.